So the research I did both as a graduate student and as a postdoc was in the area of synthetic organic chemistry, and specifically in the area of natural product synthesis. So during my graduate school days, I made molecules called the dragmacitins, and then when I was a postdoc, I made a molecule called serine A. And then when I started my research lab at UCLA, we make natural products and we also discover new reaction methodologies. One of the things that was interesting about when I started at UCLA is I even had specified in my job contract that I wouldn't teach large undergraduate classes for several years into my career because there's such a focus on research at a place like UCLA. And so that was great. The research program got off the ground, up and running just fine. And then at some point, a colleague came in and he said, "Hey, Neil, before you go up for one of these pre-tenure evaluations, you should try teaching one of these large classes." And I said, "Okay." And there was an opening for an organic chemistry class that's ultimately mostly for pre-med and pre-health type students. And typically most faculty don't want to teach that class. They'd rather teach people who are the diehards majoring in chemistry and biochemistry. But I was a pre-med student at one point, so I thought, well, this will be fun. Why don't I give this a shot? And certainly I can say it's just been a lot more fun than I ever imagined it would be. You spend all this time in graduate school and as a postdoc focusing on your research, and then teaching almost seemed more like it's going to be a burden. But I really had a lot of fun with it. I thought the students were really, really smart, really creative, and frankly really inspiring. So I think seeing that and seeing a positive outcome from students, even the first time I taught the class, made me want to put more time and effort into it. Mentoring is an incredibly important part of what we do. When I think back on my time as an undergraduate, graduate student, or a postdoc, I was so lucky to have mentors that cared and invested their time and effort into making me, I think, a better student and a better person. So I always try to do the same, whether it be in a classroom of 400 students, to try to serve as a mentor to those students, and certainly in the same in my research laboratory with postdocs, graduate students, and undergraduates. And I ultimately, especially with research, I view the education of my coworkers almost as the most important thing, and with that as the primary goal, the primary driver, the research, I think, comes along really well. Just the same. I think one of the most important things that I can share with young people, perhaps those entering academia or thinking about it, is to embrace the spirit of research. That's an important part of what we do, but at the same time, certainly not to dismiss the value of teaching and education. I think it's been one of the highlights of my time as a professor so far for the last 12 years. And I would say it's not something I would have expected going into it, because the path that we typically take is so focused on research. It again almost makes teaching feel like it's a burden. But I think if one embraces it and views it as an opportunity to inspire, I mean, it is an incredible thing to have the opportunity to teach and educate and to get students excited about what we do. And so I'd say never view teaching as a burden, view it as one of the most important opportunities that you have. It is an incredible honor to receive the ASBMB Award for Exemplary Contributions in Education. And I think most importantly, it just puts a spotlight on STEM education in general, and this is incredibly valuable. And I hope to young people who are thinking about academia again to really think about teaching as being an incredible opportunity that we have.